If you guys have never charged a client $70,000 before, $34,000, $20,000, these are just a couple of the random invoices that we have here. They're not even the highest ones. This video is going to show you exactly how to do that. I'm going to show you how to finish 2025 with enough cash collected from your clients to be able to buy your girlfriend a Birkin for Christmas. Now, this might sound like a ridiculous video title. This might sound like it's a joke. It's not. Okay. I want you to think about how well your business has done this year, where you've managed to scale your business to. Are you at 7 figures? Are you at multiple 7 figures? Are you at 50K? What was your goal at the beginning of this year and where are you right now? If you haven't asked yourself that yet, you're going to ask yourself very soon when you start shopping for presents for Christmas, right? Because Christmas is actually one of the best scorecards for how you did in your business this year. Whether you know it or not, when that time comes, you're going to realize what you're going to be able to afford to buy for your family members. Are you going to be buying your girlfriend or your mother a pair of socks and a candle and a book, which, by the way, great gifts, nothing wrong with that. But are you able to, if you wanted to, afford to buy a Birkin 25 or a Birkin Togo or a Birkin 30 for them? And if this seems ridiculous, the idea of buying a bag like this for your girlfriend or for your mother, then you're in the right place. It means you haven't yet learned how to charge clients these quantities of money. You haven't unlocked the secrets to LTV, to lifetime value at this level of scale. And so in this video, I'm going to essentially be showing you how we charge clients $70,000, right? And how we do it again and again and again and again. Now, initially, I made this video about 26 days ago for the purpose of saying there's 91 days left in the year, right? And the reason I wanted to make a 91-day video is because our company, personalbrands.io, became kind of famous in its niche for being able to go from $0 to $1 million in only 91 days without ads, right? And not only did we manage to do this for our own company, we did this for a lot of clients, right? Which was kind of the bigger deal, right? We managed to take a lot of clients like Luke here, who ran an ad agency from 42K MRR to 87 MRR, 7 figures within under 90 days. We managed to do it for Austin here, who we were able to take him to 88,000 in his first year of business within 91 days of launching his new campaign. And we were able to do it for Zeno as well, who scaled to multiple 6 figures per month. We did it for Marcus. We've done it for a lot of clients here. And the reason why we've been able to scale so many people to 7 figures isn't because it's an easy process, right? Anyone who tells you that scaling to 7 figures is an easy process is lying to you, right? Anyone who's telling you it's easy to scale to 7 figures is probably trying to sell you some course or some system, but it's not an easy process. That being said, it's a predictable process. It's a predictable process when you focus on the right input, right? Now, what is the right input? I'll tell you what it's not. The right input isn't traffic. And this is what everyone will lead you to believe, right? Attention is the new gold. Attention is the new oil. You need to spend all of your time trying to figure out how to get in front of as many people as possible. And this could not be further from the truth. And this lie is the reason why most business owners stay broke, because they're being convinced that they need to invest in some outreach AI or learn how to go viral on Instagram. None of that is going to help you, right? The truth is you don't have a traffic problem. No matter how much traffic your business is currently getting, you don't have a traffic problem. You really have a conversion problem. In other words, you don't actually need more people to see your offer, right? This is going to sound crazy, but bear with me. You don't need more people to speak to. You need to get better at persuading the people you're already talking to, right? And this is evident from the fact of looking at how cheap it really is to reach 200 people a day. If we look at ads, right, there's only 4 ways to really get clients. 1-to-1 cold, 1-to-1 warm, 1-to-many cold, 1-to-many warm, right? So if we look at 1-to-many cold, reaching out to a bunch of people who don't know you with ads, the cost to reach 200 people a day with ads with a CPM of $10 is $2 a day. It's really close to nothing. People say that ads are expensive, ad costs are very high, you need a lot of money to reach ads. It's only expensive for people because their cost per result is so high, because they're bad at persuading people with their ads. But in reality, it's very cheap to reach a large number of people with ads. If we look at 1-to-many warm, reaching out to a lot of people already know you, making content to reach your audience, it's free, right? And if you post on a platform like TikTok, TikTok pushes every single video to a minimum of 200 people in your ICP, right? It sends it to a pilot group of about 200 people every single post. And ICP, if you're posting regularly, it learns who your ideal customer profile is, right? And so you get 200 people daily that you can reach with TikTok, or any social media platform for that matter on organic. If we look at 1-to-many or 1-to-1 cold, right? Reaching out to people one at a time, one-on-one, that don't know you. So IG DMs, email, cold calling. This is also free. And it can be automated with AI. And if we look at one-to-one warm, reaching out one-to-one to people who already know you, so your friends, your followers, referrals, going to events and building connections organically, this is also free, right? And so ultimately, the cost to reach 200 people a day on any single given platform is negligible. It's close to nothing. Yet only 12% of coaches, consultants, and agency owners make any real money, while 4 out of 5 return to a 95 within 5 years. I want you guys to take that in. 12% of coaches, consultants, and agency owners make any real money, while 4 out of 5 return to a 9 to 5 within 5 years. That's a Russ Ruffino stat, right? And so how is this possible, right? The fact that you are watching this video right now proves how easy it is to generate traffic. And not only to generate traffic, but to generate traffic within your ideal customer profile. This video was free for me to make, and you're here watching it as someone who's exactly within my demographic, the exact kind of person I want to see this. But the fact is, ultimately, you don't need more people to see your message. You need the people who are already seeing it to resonate more deeply. Again, you need to get better at persuading the people already seeing your messaging that your offer is the right thing for them in the market, right? So the solution is not a magic AI workflow for mass outreach. It's not going viral on Instagram, and it's not spending more money on ads. And this is incredibly important for you guys to realize before you dump a bunch of money into these things. Because what's important to realize about going viral or about AI, right? AI is the big buzzword right now. These things are multipliers. They're transformers. What that means is you put an input in and it gives you more of that input out for the same amount of effort. It's leveraged. It's leveraged in the sense that you put in less work to reach more people. But if you're reaching more people with bad messaging, if you're using AI to reach more people in the market with bad messaging, you're hurting your business. You're spreading a negative reputation and you're burning leads. And there are limited leads in the market, right? And so I want you guys to get very clear on the fact that the solution is not any one of these things. It's not going viral. It's not spending more money on ads. And it's not using AI to reach more people. These things are going to hurt your business, right? The solution is dialing in your messaging on 3 key mechanisms, right? It's learning to be more persuasive with these 3 key mechanisms. Now, before we get into what these are, I want you to understand that closing a sale, getting to the point where someone has paid you, is simply you going through a sequence of conversations. That's all it is, right? So when you run an ad to cold traffic, for example, you are having a conversation with the market, and the goal of that conversation is for you to persuade the person on the other side of the screen to click the ad and to go to your landing page. Now, when you get them onto your landing page, you are now having a second conversation. You have won the privilege of having a second conversation with your prospect, right? And so now the goal of that conversation is the funnel, the landing page, is to get them to watch your one-to-many sales asset, right? Your VSL, maybe you have a webinar you're running. And when you get them onto that VSL or that webinar or that 5-day challenge or whatever you're doing, you now have yet a third conversation. And the goal of that conversation is to book a sales call, which is the ultimate conversation, right? A sales call is just a conversation to try to get someone to take a buying action. And so by definition, marketing, sales, every single step that you're going to take in your funnel is just a conversation, and the success rate of that conversation is based on how persuasive you can be, right? And so you need to dial in your messaging on these 3 mechanisms. Now, the very first mechanism actually isn't any one of those things I just mentioned. It's what comes right before them. It's your offer. Because no matter how persuasive you are, if you're selling someone something they don't want, they're not going to buy. Now, the biggest kind of barrier that most people are looking at right now, or the 2 largest barriers people worry about in the marketing space, is saturation and sophistication, right? There's too many people running offers, and therefore the market is smart. And they've realized that most of these offers suck. And this is true. This is true. This is the largest barrier for most people, but it's not going to be the largest barrier for you. In fact, it's going to be your biggest benefit because you're watching this video right now, and I'm going to show you how to weaponize skepticism, right? The market is very skeptical. The market is seeing everyone run the same offers. 30 appointments in 30 days, 15 clients in 90 days, blah, blah, blah. Everyone is running the exact same thing with the exact same mechanisms. Our AI setter will do this. Our profile funnel will do that, right? Now, it is indeed very difficult to make money in today's market if you're selling the same thing as everyone else. If you're selling the current generalized market opportunities, because you will feed directly into the skepticism. The market has already tried to be helped before. You're not going to be the first person in most cases to help one of your prospects solve their problem. And so if you try to sell them something they've already failed with, whether that's ads, whether that's content, whatever it is, they're just going to think back to their failure and they're not going to want to buy. And so you need to find a way to take your offer and you need to persuade the client that your offer is an antithesis offer. It is the antithesis to the current generalized market opportunities. For you, those of you who don't know, an antithesis is the opposite of the current thesis. The thesis being the current theory, the current hypothesis, if you guys think back to science class. So whatever people currently believe to be true, right? So whatever is currently offered in the market and what everyone thinks is the best thing to be selling, you want to take the opposite of that and you want to make your offer seem like it looks completely different to everything else in the market and therefore completely different to everything that's caused your prospects pain in the past. Now, this is a very long conversation. I truly believe that 99% of people, when they think they have a sales problem or an acquisition problem, they actually have an offer problem, because if your offer was better, it would be easier to get people to click on your acquisition channels. And if your offer was better, it would be easier to sell them on the sales call as well. So if you want to learn how to actually build an antithesis to this offer, if you want to see a full 20-minute video breaking down how to build an irresistible offer that sells easily and scales easily, right? You can click the video link. It should be probably in the top right corner of the video right now. And it'll show you exactly how to build an antithesis offer. Now, moving on, once your offer is dialed, the next thing you have to worry about is your distribution vehicle, right? So you need to worry about the way that you're getting the message out. This is your second conversation. And as you can see here, this is an example of a DM ad that we ran at some point. And you can see on this one single day, December 28th, we took a random screenshot of sequence, countless messages, right? You could keep scrolling here and you'd go through another couple dozen of these. We were getting 20 to 40 of these qualified leads every single day for very cheap because, again, our distribution vehicle was very persuasive. And the reason it was persuasive is because we focused on CGMO-based pain instead of the thing we were actually selling, right? So this is going to sound counterintuitive again, but instead of focusing on what our offer could do better than anyone else, instead of trying to make us look like the better option like everyone else does, we instead focused on building pain around all the other options, all of the current market generalized opportunities. So you want to look at everything that your market is currently selling and the problems with that, and you want to call that out in your ad. So you want to basically talk about how if someone's selling a content offer, how it's going to be a long tail. It's going to be 6 to 12 months to see any results, and business owners need money now, and they're going to burn out. And how all the difficulties that come with building a personal brand. If everyone is running AI callers right now, you want to talk about why AI callers don't work, right? What the problems with them are, what the issues with them are. And you want to focus on that in your ad before you get into your mechanism and your credibility, right? You want to weaponize skepticism. You want to make the person who's watching the video feel like, I knew it. I knew everyone in the market is bullshitting me. I knew I was being lied to. You want to validate their fears and their suspicions, so that you don't get lumped into that same category of all the other peddlers that they view, all the leeches and the bloodsuckers that are trying to take their money. You want to position yourself as the exact opposite, right? And you want to weaponize skepticism. Now, once you've managed to do this in your second conversation with your distribution vehicle, and you've managed to get someone to click onto your landing page, or maybe you're just running this off of Loom, most people don't actually start running their VSLs off of GHL or ClickFunnels. My first offer that we ever scaled to 7 figures, we just sent people directly to a Loom video, right? And you can watch one of my case studies on my YouTube channel about that. Charlie Morgan, a lot of the guys doing millions per month were sending their traffic directly to a Loom page. So you don't need to have some large budget to do this. You can still generate 7 figures off an offer, sending someone to a Loom page, as long as you know how to make an effective BSL, right? What is a BSL? Most people make VSLs, video sales letters. What we've become really known for in the industry as a company, and if you're watching this and you're one of our longtime followers, you'll know this, is what we created as a concept called the BSL, the belief shifting letter, which instead of focusing on selling the product, it sells the belief that's required to get someone to make the decision in their mind that they need your product without you needing to sell them, right? You always want someone to come to a decision on their own. So the BSL is how we do that. Now, how do you make a BSL? How do you make a video sales letter that focuses on shifting the belief? So you want to do 3 things. Similar to what we just discussed with both the offer and the ad, or whatever you use as your distribution vehicle. This could be an ad, this could be outreach, this could be content. You need to do 3 things. And you'll notice this is always the theme across everything you do in marketing. Every single one of these conversations, every touch points, you need to do these 3 things. You need to first show them why the current market opportunities are bad. So for example, if you're running a content offer, you need to show the market why ads are bad, because you best believe that your prospect is going to be inundated with offers from other service providers claiming they can help them better than you can with their own market opportunities. And we don't want to try to convince them person X and person Y isn't going to be able to help you, because you don't even know who those people are. And that's just going to raise more skepticism. You want to go to the root and you want to convince them the opportunity that your competitors are using is bad. So number one, you want to show them the current market opportunities are bad. So if you're running a content offer, it could be showing them that cold outreach doesn't work. It could be showing them that ads don't work, right? Then you want to show them why the new market opportunity is better. Again, this might be content. In your case, you're selling a content offer. As you can see in this mock-up of a sales page that we had selling a personal brand offer, right? And then next, after you've convinced them that ads and outreach don't work and content is the best way to do things, now you have to show them why your version of this new opportunity is the best, why your version of doing content is the best. Now you might be asking yourself, how do I make my version of whatever I'm selling better than everyone else's? There's many ways to differentiate yourself, right? When I ran a content agency many, many years ago, I was one of the first people to do it in the space. When I ran my content agency, I differentiated myself by essentially saying, hey, listen, we're going to script, film, edit, post all of your content. But more than that, we're actually going to fly out to you in person and we're going to film 100 pieces of content in 24 to 48 hours. And all you have to do in order to get 3 months worth of content is set aside 1 weekend for us a quarter. 1 weekend a quarter, 1 weekend every 3 months. That's all you need to do. And the rest will run like clockwork, right? And so that comes out to 4 to 8 days of filming a year, right? We were able to guarantee them 1 week a year, and you will never have to worry about content again. And that's how we differentiate ourselves. Now, there's, again, countless ways to differentiate your offer, but you want to find a way, whether it's based on speed, whether it's based on cost, whether it's based on quality, whether it's based on specialization, to make your version of whatever you're doing better than everyone else who's within your current service provider space as well. Now, there's a lot of things you got to keep in mind when it comes to making a one-to-many belief shifting asset. This is the number one thing you need to keep in mind, these 3 points. But that being said, there's a lot more to consider. And so the most valuable thing I can probably ever give you guys is teaching you guys how to effectively sell one-to-many. And so this week, I'm going to be dropping a video on how we build BSLs, right? So if it's already dropped when you're watching this, it'll be in the description and it'll be up here. If it hasn't, make sure to stay tuned, subscribe to the channel, and as soon as it is live, you'll be able to see it. But this single thing is responsible for 90% of our success as an organization, understanding how to create a persuasive one-to-many selling asset. Because ultimately, this is where all of your traffic ends up. Whether you run ads, whether you run cold outreach, whether you run content, everyone will be redirected to a landing page somewhere and will be forced to watch a video like this. And so your ability to make an effective BSL is going to be the largest determining factor in you being able to scale your business. Moving on. Dialing in our messaging on these 3 things, right? On your offer, on your distribution vehicle, and on your one-to-many sales asset is what's going to allow you to be able to persuade clients to pay you these quantities of money, right? Again, marketing is just a series of conversations. And if you can go through that series of conversations and convince someone that your offer is the only viable solution for them in the entire market and it's different from everything else, and everything else is going to cause them pain, then you can convince clients to stay with you for a very long time and pay you a very large sum of money. We have here clients, if you look at this, $77,412.73 generated from this one client. You can see same 3 letters at first name and last name here, just different transactions. $50,781.55 from this other client, $22,000 from this client, $22,000 from this client, another 2 same letters, same name. This is what you're able to do when you're able to focus on 7-figure persuasion, right? When you can achieve the skill of 7-figure persuasion, you're able to generate these sums of money so that you can actually afford to buy your loved ones things for this like Christmas, or things like this for Christmas that doesn't seem so ridiculous anymore. Now, I'm about to show you some actual concrete examples of optimizing all 3 of these pillars and some revenue proof of optimizations we've done in the past to get some results with these optimizations. Before I do, if this is the kind of stuff that you find valuable, if you're someone who's interested in actually scaling their high ticket offer with resonance instead of resistance, right? Learning to turn words into wealth, learning how to use 7-figure persuasion to be able to generate more click-throughs, more sales calls, and more clients with less ad spend, with less content, without having to push the boulder uphill. This is probably a good channel for you to subscribe to because that's the only thing I teach here. Now, if you've wanted to work with me at some point one-on-one, I am going to be opening up my calendar for the first time in a long time to speak to people personally, and I'm only going to be doing this through YouTube. So this link isn't going to be available on TikTok, Instagram, anywhere else that you can find us, not even on our website. It's only going to be available on the next few videos that I'm posting, because we've seen that by far, with miles between, the most serious people that we get applying to work with our team to help them scale their businesses by helping them build out their BSLs, build out their webinars, build out their ads and their nurturing systems, come through YouTube, right? The people who are here, who are able to fight against their attention spans and watch a 30-minute video instead of a 30-second video, those are the most serious candidates that we see, and the ones that we have the least amount of challenges or barriers to quickly scaling to 7 figures and beyond, right? So if you're interested in working with us personally, or working with me personally rather, for this month only, there should be a link in the video description. If it's no longer there, it means it's been removed. So go ahead and take a look there. Now, let me preface that we only work with established businesses. So if you're not doing 20 to 50K per month or more in your business right now, please do not book a call to speak with me. I would recommend that instead you take a look at our free Skool community, 7-Figure Persuasion. You can find that in the description as well. And in my opinion, this is the most valuable asset you're going to find online for focusing on persuasion within your sales assets, within your video assets, within your offer formation, to be able to make more money with less input, right? So go ahead and take a look at whatever one of those links serve you better. In the meantime, here is a couple of examples of antithesis offers, distribution vehicles, and one-to-many belief shifting sales assets that you can take, right? So an example of this, an antithesis offer. Right now, everyone is selling AI callers, AI appointment setters, right? An antithesis offer to this would be AI-assisted human setters. Taking the angle of AI sucks. It's not going to help you with your setting process. What you need is an AI-assisted human setter. It's going to beat AI appointment setters by a mile every single time. It's going to be able to take all of the sales knowledge in real time that an AI would have, but it's able to communicate it with a human touch, right? Distribution vehicle, CGMO-based paying. Here you want to focus on the fact that, again, people don't want to talk to AI, the technical errors and glitches, and the hidden costs of maintenance, right? So instead of just talking about how your setters are so good and they're going to outperform the market, you first want to turn people away from the other opportunities in the market, right? And then your one-to-many belief-shifting sales asset is going to be focused on this kind of angle of how to actually use AI to 3x the profitability of your setting process, right? Without having to use any of these clanky tools. Another example of an antithesis offer. This is one that we've created for a client recently. It's called the no-cost sales engine. So what is no-cost sales? This client runs a TikTok shop offer, right? And so they want to show clients that they can make more money on TikTok shop, which is free, than through Meta, where you have to pay a lot of money. You got to pay Daddy Zuck a lot of money to run Meta ads, right? As you know if you're watching this video. So the distribution vehicle, the ads are going to start, instead of trying to sell TikTok shop as a platform, it's going to start with the CGMO-based paying, right? So what is the rest of the market currently experiencing with the current opportunities? Stop relying on ads, influencers, and UGC to scale your DTC e-commerce brand because it has pain point A, pain point B, and pain point C, right? Now, in your one-to-many belief-shifting sales asset, it's going to be something along the lines of, here's how we generated $155K in our first 30 days with $0 in ad spend, right? Now, as promised, I'm going to show you the actual proof. So 155K generated in 30 days for this client, right? And we built a case study in the BSL around that. And then our CTO built an AI agent to custom tailor and generate live setting scripts based on every client's type form, allowing us to hyper optimize odds for conversion on every lead. This is the level of client obsession we invest in the client results, and the reason we have some of the best case studies in the entire industry. So this is us literally running up this AI assisted human setter offer. We posted this as a story back in January, and within 24 hours, the 24 hours that story was live, right? Because the stories stay active for 24 hours, we managed to close 2 sales. Right, so we generated 9K off that story. Not a lot, but the key isn't just that it's 9K. The key is that each of these 4K clients end up turning into 74K clients or 77K clients or 50K clients, right? That's the key. It's that when it becomes very easy to persuade someone to get into your pipeline, to become a client, to become part of your client base, that's the hardest part. As soon as you've started a financial relationship, the rest is very, very easy, right? And so you might be asking, well, is it? Is it actually really easy? I don't know how to turn a 4K client into a 74K client or a 77K client. How do I do that? How do I turn a 4K client into a 74K client, right? Because that was the purpose of this video, is to show you how to make $74,000 or $77,000 off a single client, right? And so step 1 of 2 is getting the client. And that's actually the hard part, right? That's the hard part, is getting the client. Now, the easy part is doing the next thing, which is not only closing them, but retaining and ascending them. Figuring out a model where you can close, retain, and ascend every single client from a 4K client into a 74K client. Now, this is what you really came for. And I want to show you, I want to now show you how you actually retain and ascend clients, how you go about increasing the prices and increasing the frequency that you charge them again and again and again, effortlessly in a way which makes them excited to pay more, right? And all you have to do to see that is click the link in the top right of this video. I know how terrible you guys expected to see it in this video. The problem is, I realized in making this Miro board, the money model is too robust of a concept to just squeeze in with all this other information. This is incredibly valuable. It's the easiest piece of the puzzle that you now have to plug in to show you how to not only acquire a client for 4K or 5K or 15K, but to charge them that amount every single month and make it increase, right? So not only charge them 4, but be able to charge them a 4K, then 8K, then 16K, then 20K, teaching you how to make this kind of ladder of upselling your clients. I'm going to show you that in this video. It's going to be an incredibly valuable skill for you to master in your business. And this is a money model that you will not find in Alex Hormozi's new book. This is a money model I've been using for over a year now, far before the book was released. But if you've listened to his audiobook, if you've read the book $100 Million Money Models, at least you'll have an understanding of what a money model is. If you don't have an understanding, that's totally fine. It's just a way that you charge clients. It's how you attract, retain, and ascend clients, right? So click the link at the top right of this video. And if you don't see a link right now, it's because you're watching this video on the first or second day that it's released. There's going to be a 2-day buffer between this video dropping and the second video dropping. And so if you're not seeing it right now because you're watching this video as soon as it dropped, all you have to do is comment on this video instead, and I will reply to you and notify you the new video is dropped as soon as it is live. And as always, guys, Carpe Omnia, seize everything this life has to offer before it's too late. You were not put on this earth to write sales copy, to make funnels, to run ads, to make content. As great as it is to learn these skills and do these things to create massive impact for people, you were put on this earth to live and nothing else. You were put on this earth to spend time with your loved ones, spend time with your family, and to make memories and do meaningful things. There's no other purpose to life. And you can't do that if you have a business that runs you. You need to learn how to run an impactful business without it taking away everything that you have. So figure out the skills that you need and the insights that you need in order to build a meaningful, impactful business that does not run you as quickly as possible.